Beijing. The European Union Trade Commissioner called for a more balanced economic relationship with China on Monday, and said that an EU trade deficit of approximately €400 billion said that China's position in the war in Ukraine could endanger relationship with Europe. Valdis Dombrovskis, China's prestigious Tsinghua University, in a speech. The EU and China's separation of important political and economic winds. He said, the most powerful, but not only, the headwind of Russia against Ukraine. War of aggression and how China positions itself in this regard, he said. Dombrovskis spoke to Chinese Vice President He LiFeng before the high-level economic and trade talks. The EU leaders expressed their concerns about the increasing trade deficit with BLOC last year with China, which reached €396 billion last year. He announced an investigation into subsidies to electric vehicle manufacturers and said he had broken the flood of cheaper Chinese cars. The Chinese government described the investigation as a protectionist act aimed at distorting the supply chain. The EU Trade Commissioner called on China to address the lack of reciprocity in economic relationship, and the numbers speak for themselves. He said that China has created a more politicized business environment to protect the interests of national security development, that less transparency, unequal access, discriminatory standard security requirements. Dombrovskis has referred to as an updated tender law that struggles to understand the compliance obligations of European companies and European companies. It allows a lot of space to interpret uncertainties, he said about the laws that they have deterred new investments in China. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wenbin said China provides a market-oriented, law-based business environment for foreign companies. Companies do not have to worry as long as they operate in accordance with the law, he said. Chinese officials are trying to withdraw foreign investment to help the economy emerge from an ongoing recession despite abolition of pandemic restrictions last December. The Chinese government tried to remain neutral in war in Ukraine, instead condemning the Russian invasion of United States and most Europe. Cattony Dombrovskis said that regional integrity is always a basic principle for China in international diplomacy. The war of Russia is a clear violation of this principle, he said.